All right, guys, top of the morning. Happy December 15th, 10 days away from Christmas, coming to you live and direct from beautiful Arizona. I had my wife drop me off at the airport last night in Sacramento, and I took the last flight out of Sacramento to Arizona. So we were in Tahoe, had an amazing weekend. And for me, I spent 11 years of my life in Tahoe. So I have a true spiritual connection in Lake Tahoe. Changed my life going up there above the trees and the oxygen and just the people and the vibe. And so I'm just coming to you guys feeling very grateful to be able to share those experiences with my family, take them up on the gondola, have some fun, eat some food, and just, play Yahtzee at the table, just doing family stuff. So I was really grateful for this weekend. So before we get rolling, I'm going to have somebody, per usual, take us out on the field. That person is going to be Aaron. Aaron, got to spend some time with you last week at our Jingle and Mingle. It's always fun to see you, my man. So I'm going to have you bring us out on the field and kind of set the tone and set the sentiment for the day, big dog. So no pressure, all the pressure. Let's roll.
Yeah, no, it was good seeing everybody out there. And so I would encourage that, leaning into teamwork, leaning into the team overall, and just staying consistent and steady through this time of year where we kind of lag back a little bit because of the holidays, rightfully so, a lot of times to take a break and decompress, but also keep in mind you don't want to start resting on your laurels too much. You want to keep pushing, keep doing the activities, keep doing the things. It's cold outside, it's gloomy, it's easy to want to just lay in bed and chill, but I encourage everybody to get out and get it.
That's right, my man. Well, I certainly appreciate you. I appreciate all of your thoughts, your wisdom, you being in the space. And it was great hanging out with you guys. If you missed Jingle and Mingle last week, you missed Jingle and Mingle last week. I'm just saying, it was cool. We did that at my house. We did it in Oakland, and then we did it at Manka Grill out in Fairfield. And so just a small little group of people just coming together. I thought it was like our time to just let our hair down and just connect with you guys. So really excited. I have some thoughts for you, but really quick, I want you to finish this sentiment. Heather had Grinch pictures yesterday, pictures with the Grinch yesterday. She did an event. So why don't you walk us through your high level SOP, how many people came, and then now what is the follow-up game after that? Because I'm sure inquiring minds want to know. So Heather, I'm gonna have you rapid fire this. Let's go.
I'm glad that you referred to it as high level SOP because it a lot went into it. But basically, the biggest thing was just get out there and be with people, meet people. About 150 people came. We raffled items. We had our QR codes out there, scan and follow me to win. So we're going to do a raffle today. We got a ton of new followers. Had first time home buyer workbooks out there. A bunch of people took those, stopped and talked real estate, talked not real estate. Just met the public. We co-sponsored with a lot of people, raised a bunch of money for our charity, which was Family Promise of Greater Modesto. They came out. They were so grateful. Everybody was so happy. It was just amazing. I don't know if you call that high level SOP, but I really feel that it was a big success. We partner with Pure Grind Coffee and Juice Bar, with Memory Lane Photo Booth. That was me, Sabrina. So we have all those different people and all those different databases seeing each other's stuff, and just got to know everybody. And now, that has just expanded our SOI even that much more. And it was amazing. And we all talked about it. We're going to do it again next year, and it's going to be even better. And I think just every year it's going to get better and better. So not sure if that was what you were looking for, but it was amazing.
Certainly. So I want to tell you this. We're going to follow up, and we're going to do pictures with the Easter Bunny. I have an Easter Bunny suit, right? And you can just plan for that next session to be pictures with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, and that's the greatest thing. That Pure Grind, they're actually clients of mine. I sold their house in Ceres. It's a coffee and juice bar. Everybody loves that place. They have a giant patio. They're right downtown, and they're always willing to do events. So I think it's going to be awesome. We could definitely, if you'll let me use it, we'll definitely do pictures with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, I'll let you use the Vespa too. And you could sit on the Vespa and take pictures with the kids. That's how much I'm willing to let you do.
Oh,
sorry,
sweet.
Heather, is it coming in clear? Because I'm getting a really bad delay with you.
Yeah, you're pretty choppy. I'm getting a
Is
bad
sorry,
delay
guys,
too.
is it coming in clear? Because there's a big delay. Fuck. I'm gonna try to switch my internet because I don't know why it's like this, but let's do this. I'm gonna go to my Wi-Fi and I'm gonna do my hotspot. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna try to do my hotspot and then hopefully this works. If not, then we will just figure it out. So don't go too far, you guys. Please, please give me 1 second. Let me make sure that I can get this. Process, all this stuff is a little better.
No, better last time.
What's that? Eric, Chris, how we coming in?
It was better last time. It even had
I've
a
never
little
had
thing
this
saying
problem in
Elias
this.
bandwidth was low. So it's giving a little network bandwidth is low thing over your picture.
Okay, so all right. Aaron, Chris, how about now? Is that coming in a little bit better?
Nah, it's super choppy. And it's still right above your head. It says network bandwidth is low for me
Okay.
anyways.
All right, so
Maybe
let's do
Elias, turn
this.
off your camera.
No, I'm not turning off my camera. I'm going to switch this internet really quick.
Okay.
But I am going to do this. I'm going to have you guys just start us off with moving the needle. What are you committed to this week as we're going into the holiday season, as we're going into Christmas? So I just want 3 people to contribute really quick as I figure this out. What are you committed to launching, deploying, putting in place this week? Mara, I'm going to go to you. Fill in the blanks for me, and I'm going to make sure I fix this internet.
This week I am committed because I have a new listing. So I went to her house yesterday. I met with her. She is exactly my demographic. She's an older adult. So I have a lot of work to do there as far as just helping her sort through the contracts, the disclosures, understanding everything. It's a lengthier process, I believe. I don't know because I'm still new at this, but I believe with an older adult because my goal is to really make sure that they don't feel taken advantage of and they feel fully supported and they feel the compassion and the care during this kind of scary time in their life while they're transitioning and selling their home.
Mara, I absolutely love this. How did you get this lead? Because I know that this is a focus of yours. How did you get this lead? And is this any better, you guys?
Much better. Um, so I work, I really network in my community. I have a contact that's called Seniors Helping Seniors, and I go and do trainings for them with my physical therapy assistant background. So I do like, body mechanics training, safety with transfers, using different equipment if they're confused about like how to use a slide board or a transfer pole. So I'll go in and I'll do trainings for their caregivers. This is one of the caregivers because it's seniors helping seniors. So the idea with this business is that it's people over the age of 50 or maybe even, older than that who just want to give back and they still have a lot of energy and life. And so they go in and they help people maybe who've recently had a new hip or who are just, struggling a little bit, maybe getting over pneumonia and just a little weaker. And they go and they help them with light housekeeping, walking the dog, maybe making some meals for them, running errands, taking them to the doctor, whatever it is. So it's two sides of the demographic that I'm able to tap into. And this particular client, I did the training. And of course, I tell everyone physical therapist assistant license, real estate license. I'm blending those two worlds. So she took down my name and number, and now she's ready to sell her house and transition. And she's one of the caregivers. So that's what.
Wow. Wow. Well, you know what I love about this approach? Because you're not doing this to try to get into the senior network. Like you're literally there because you want to help, you want to serve, you want to, be somebody that they can trust and really feel the compassion. And I believe they do. I think this is an amazing vein for you. Before we go over to Nicole, I'm going to pull up some things on the screen really quick because I think it's a really, really important time for us to just unpack everything, plan, prepare and get ready for the new year. You guys, we're already there. And so I wanted you guys just to do a check-in and feel free to do a quick audit for yourself. We spoke a little bit about this yesterday, but I want to go a little bit further into this. Um, who you've been this year, excuse me, who you've been this year got you here. Who you choose to be next decides everything. You see, if you're where you're at, you've made the money, if you've had the opportunities, if you feel that you've made impact, if you feel that you're closing out the year strong, then congratulations, right? That behavior and that person that you showed up as really got you here. Well, on the flip side of it too, if you were not owning your visibility, if you were not doing the things that you needed to do, then you have to say, well, that person got me here. So who you choose to be next decides everything. As we turn the calendar and go into the new year, what does that person actually look like? And so what I want to do is I wanted to ask you a couple questions, and it's more of a reflection for you to sit with. What version of me showed up most often in 2025? And I want you guys to be honest with that. What version of you showed up most often in 2025? Was it the version of yourself that never settled? Was it the version of yourself that was consistent, that was disciplined, that had a schedule, that was routine? What was the best version of you that showed up in 2025? And I really want you guys to reflect. And I want you to ask yourself some questions. As we grow together, as we get ready for the new year, I'm humble and I want to know what are some things that are working for you and what do we do to take these sessions to the next level? And so I want you guys to sit with these questions, and we could come back to all this on Wednesday and really unpack these questions. What lessons from our time together actually change your behavior this year? Some of you have been coming to group coaching for years, and I could look at the roster and be like, wow, stacking. We do 12 of these sessions every single month. And so I want you to ask yourself, when you start to unpack, when you look back at your notes, when you look back at some of your videos, when you look at some of your aha moments, like what lesson actually changed your behavior this year? And what worked because you worked it, right? We've gave you all kinds of suggestions and thoughts and downloads and SOPs. And here's the way to do your open houses. Here's your structure for posting content. Get your calendar, get your mind, get your routine. Like what worked because you worked. And then in Demian's, catchphrase, like work until it worked, but what really worked in your business because you applied what you're learning here in coaching, right? And what did you hear all year but still resisted? I don't want to pause on that one for a second. Like, what did you hear all year long from me and you still resisted it? And then you got to ask yourself, why did I resist it? Right? I'm not here to prove you wrong. I'm not here to be right. I'm here to share with you what I know will work as long as you implement these things and you implement these things consistently. So what did you hear all year long, but you still resisted? Elias, my CRM, my calendar, my social media. So I do want to spend a second there, and I want to ask you guys, what did you hear all year but resisted? And I want somebody to answer that question, somebody bold on the call to answer that question right there. So who's it going to be? Throw your hand up. I want to know from you guys, what did you hear all year long, but you still resisted? So I'll pause for a quick second. I want you to throw your hand up. So Lisa Torres, let's go to you, my friend.
Good morning. So mine is that all of it works. The basic answer is all of it works as long as you are doing something. And I think we spoke on this last week as to as long as you are putting in real effort and putting in the time and doing the thing, you cannot put in massive effort and get nothing out of it. So even though I didn't always do my open houses to its fullest potential, even though I didn't put out a video with the best edits, as long as I got something done, there were results, even though they weren't as great as I wanted them to be. So thank you, Coach.
And are you having an amazing year?
Yes. And if I would have did even more, I would have gotten, even closer to my personal goal. So yes.
And I appreciate the fact that you're owning this and you're saying if I would have done more, not that anybody else would have done more. So here's what I want you guys to do is I want you to rank yourself really quick and just sit with your own numbers. I want you to rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. And here's three different categories. First off is your clarity, and I think that this is most important. Your clarity on why you're showing up in this world, what you're doing, why you're creating this, your purpose, your cause, your crusade. On a scale from 1 to 10, where would you rank yourself? And then on 2 is your credibility, right? When you think about your credibility, I wrote this down here, and this comes from Jen Gottlieb. What people say about you when you're not in the room, that's your actual brand. Most people don't have a brand problem, they have a visibility problem. You could be the most qualified agent, but if no one sees you, hears you, or remembers you, it doesn't matter. It's all about having clarity, and that's what's going to build your reputation. So you could be the smartest dude on this call. You could be the smartest woman on this call. But if no one hears this amazing voice of yours and they don't see your face, then they're not going to remember you. They're not going to remember you. And this is what I wanted to instill in everybody on this call and in future calls. Like, we got to do things that are going to be remembered. We have to build our brand. The only way that we're going to do that is to have visibility. And that's a consistent process. It's not once in a while visible. This is an ongoing process. So I want you to rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10. And if you are 7 or below, then we definitely got some work to do. And if you guys need some help from me on a more one-on-one, get on my calendar and let's make sure to unpack that conversation. What I want you guys to think about from now until Christmas. Now, listen, whether or not you celebrate Christmas, it's still a holiday season. A lot of people do. I want you to think about what your marketing is going to be. What is your Christmas/holiday marketing plan? Who are you intentionally reaching out to? What's the message of gratitude, guidance, silence, whatever it is, you guys, I don't know. And are you visible or invisible? I say this every single time we're right around a holiday because you guys have an opportunity to just market yourself just like Heather did. Heather put herself in a room and got 150 people to come out to that event. And now she has more people in her database, more people to follow up with, more people to do a raffle. And so this is your opportunity. And you might be thinking it's too late. It's not. You still got time to do something that is centered around a campaign. Now, December 31st, message lock-in. You guys, I want you guys to, no matter what, if you're not doing a big campaign for Christmas, if you're just doing handwritten cards, if you're just doing reach outs with videos, what I want you guys to do is I want you to send out some type of email to your entire database. And I just put a prompt here because it's really, really simple. As we close the chapter of 2025, here's what I've learned about the market, about people, about what matters most. And listen, this is just a prompt to maybe get the writing started, right? What are some things that you learned this year about yourself? What was the biggest patterns and conditions and nuances that you noticed in the market? And what did you really identify in people and how they needed you to show up? And how did you show up in massive ways? And how many people's lives did you change? The Andersons, the Clark, the Chris, the Cortezes. Like, I was able to change all these people's lives this year. Note those things and send out a really true heartfelt message to your people in your database. You guys, you still have time to close out this year and get tons of engagement before we walk into 2026. And so I want to give you guys some of these thoughts and some of these, prompts or ideas just to make sure, you guys, that we're fucking tightening up everything before we turn the calendar, because I want nothing more than you guys to walk into 2026 with all the momentum that you guys deserve. When we say, oh, this year's going to be great, well, let's make it great. Let's do everything that we need to do. We worked on our vision traction organizer. We worked on setting our intention for 2026 Q1. And I want to share this quote with you because I thought it was really, really powerful. It says here, vision without traction is fantasy. Traction without vision is burnout. You could be doing all this work. You could be busy. You could be sending out the videos and the emails and all the things. But if you don't actually have clarity on your vision and where you're going, and what's going to happen is you are going to burn out. You're going to hit a wall because you're doing all these things and you do not have alignment. So you guys, when I tasked you last week to do your VTO, if you have not done that VTO, Vision Traction Organizer, I'm going to put it in the chat down below. One more time. This Vision Traction Organizer is your opportunity to just plan out the Q1 of 2026. You don't have to go crazy. Just plan out your Q1 of 2026. And this is going to be a way to set the year with some intention. Now, either you will print that out and you'll write it out and you'll be clear, or you're just going to be on the call again and be like, okay, cool, Elias, that was great, but I didn't do anything with it. Do not come to the calls and not take something from these calls and say, you know what, I'm going to apply this in my business and I'm going to do this now. Now, the standard moving forward. The standard moving forward, as you walk into 2026, once again, you guys, this is with intention, this is with clarity, and this is with purpose. And I'm going to share this with you. What version of yourself are you leaving in 2025? What version of yourself are you leaving in 2025? The procrastinator, the person that gets lazy, the person that hesitates, the person that's gun shy, the person that says a bunch of shit and doesn't follow up? Like, what version of yourself are you leaving in the rear view? Right? When you look at the horizon of 2026, do you want to take your excuses with you? Do you want to take your baggage, your bullshit, your inaction, your lack of discipline? Do you want to take all that with you into the new year? It's like taking all of our bad shit into a new relationship. And we wonder why the new relationship doesn't work, because you brought all your baggage with you. This is our opportunity to walk into 2026 and say, you know what? I'm not bringing that with me. I'm not bringing that behavior, that mindset, that disbelief. I'm not bringing that imposter syndrome with me. And I'm walking in with new intentionality. You see, I have a friend that's going through it right now, and he's going through it with his wife and all kinds of things that are happening in their marriage. And I said, listen, man, I've been talking to you about mental conditioning for years. And I believe that if you would have done the mental conditioning, then you wouldn't have had all these outside circumstances and forces be able to impede who you are as a man. And he went and sat with his therapist, and his therapist gave him a book. And it was a book I gave him 2 years ago and he never read. And the book was Atomic Habits, his very first therapy session. So I said, listen, man, everything that we're going to do and everything that you're experiencing in life, if you just did the work on yourself, I promise you, you would have the mental capacity, the emotional acuity to handle whatever happens in your life. But he hasn't done the work on himself. And now he's allowing all these things to come in. And so you have to ask yourself, what version of yourself are you going to leave in the rear view in 2026? What are you going to leave in the rear view to say, you know what? This is how I'm going to show up in life and business and health and relationships. You guys, I'm 46 years old. I'm seeing life in a totally different prism now. I want nothing but 2026 to be our very, very best year. So I'm actually going to end this a little bit early. I'm on a different time zone and they don't roll back the clock, but I'm going to do this, you guys. I'm going to leave you guys for about 30 minutes. And Blessing, you're here. Blessing, can you hear me? I'm going to have my friend Blessing take over. And what I want to do is I want to have a conversation around this. And Blessing, if you wouldn't mind just leading me with this, I'll owe you a nice lunch. You and I can go out and grab some lunch. But what I want to do is I want to have that conversation of what are you willing to leave behind? What version of yourself are you willing to leave behind so that a new person can arise in 2026? Can you imagine us all sitting here 6 months from now and you're still sitting on procrastination? Like that should make you sick. That should make you sick. Like you should look at yourself and be like, you know what? I want to grow. I want to become more. I want to evolve. And I feel like that's our opportunity as human beings. Or we're going to look back at the end of our life and we're going to sit there with all this regret. I wish I would have. I had the time to, but I didn't. I dragged my feet. You guys, those are things that I don't want you to sit with as we get older in life. I want you to make years like this, the years that you truly, truly separated yourself. When we were in Tahoe yesterday, we're walking around this beautiful meadow. And my wife's like, I want to buy a home here, babe. I was like, so do I. And so it's like, what is that going to take for us in 2026 to be able to have a family house to where we sit there together and play games and looking out at the snow and sitting at the fireplace? Like, what does that do for my family long term? And you guys, I'm just so excited. So Blessing, if you would share a thought and takeaway based on the conversation thus far. And are you cool with kind of taking the helm from there?
I am, because the version of myself that I'm leaving in 2025 is the one that doesn't say yes when I know I really want to, the one that hesitates. Because the reality is We all know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But if you're going to do the same thing over and over and over again, we're going to get to a point where we just realize, like, I'm actually okay with everything that's happening right now, because if I wasn't, then I would take different action. And it's okay. I think that's the one thing that we really have to realize, is that we get to choose. We get to decide. That truly is no judgment. We already know that everyone's going to support you for how you show up. People might see the potential in you and want more for you, but you have to want it. And if this is what you want, that is completely and 100% okay. And we'll support you in that, secretly wishing more for you. So,
I love this,
yeah.
Blessing. Before I head out, you guys, before I turn it over to Blessing, I want you guys to have that conversation of what version of yourself are you willing to leave behind in 2026. And then also, I want you guys to go to the board. I want you guys to share with the group what are you committed to doing this week that is going to move the needle in your business. I want you to commit to that. And I want you guys to share that with the group. You guys, at the end of the day, I want you to raise your hand if you will be in this industry next December 15th, 2026. If you will be in the industry, making money, providing for your family, owning your visibility, and looking back at it in the rear view and saying, look, I did that. I fucking promise you, you guys, I promise you, this will be my best year I've ever had in business. 2026 will set the benchmark. I'm fucking taking over. Keep moving is going.
We can tell that was going to be good, right?
Moon, fast real estate, going to the moon. I promise you that. And I declare that here. Say again. It's you.
Elias, you're cutting out, but
I lost you.
That's okay. We know exactly what he was trying to say. We know that there's not any doubt that we have as far as where he's taking his business, where he's taking Team Fast, where he's contributing, right? So is there anyone that wants to raise their hand and say what they're leaving in 2025 so that they can have a fabulous, hyped up, awesome 2026? Lisa, I don't know if that's an old hand or a new hand. Go ahead, Heather.
Tricky mute button. I'm really hoping to, I'm not hoping, I am leaving behind that version of a person who lets her business run her as opposed to running her business. Running around like a hot mess with a chicken with my head cut off. My goal is to lock in, lock down, and gain control. You know, structure, scheduling, just being very, very focused on that, and time blocking. Because realistically, this business, this real estate, this will run you into the ground if you let it. So just super important me to do that, just for not only my business, but my sanity.
For sure. And when you think about you being the woman running your business versus it running you, what is one major thing in 2026 that you look forward when you can say, I did that?
I think a lot of that are you talking action in order to attain that, or what's going to come of it? I just want to be
either way.
Sure. So for me, I think a lot of that is just boundaries, you know, and not, I guess we always want to be hungry, but not so hungry that we're going to sacrifice our our ourselves and our, you know, sanity. So, you know, not so me calling the shots, just being more I guess stingy with my time. And I think a lot of that too is just relaying value, and people are like, yes, she can't make it right now, but you know, she's, you know, worth the wait, and I can work with her schedule as opposed to me just around everybody else's schedule. And I just think that, you know, it's just going to allow me to be a better version of myself, for my family, for my clients. And I think, it's just, there is a lot that doesn't get done because I'm too busy running circles. And I think just having that structure, having that scheduling, and just being very focused on that is just going to allow me to do more with less stress, which is going to be great for my business, going to be great for my clients, going to be great for me, for my family overall. So that's really my primary focus for 2026.
Awesome. One thing that you said that I want to point out is that others will say she's worth the wait,
Yeah.
but you are worth the wait. So just that piece and being able to really embrace that next year, I'm excited for that for you so that you know how amazing you are and you don't have to run around. So really, really awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Heather.
Yeah. Thank you, Hen. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay. Mara, was that a hand or who else? I know Mara's already shared, Heather's already shared. Who else wants to get in the conversation and make that declaration? You know, I'm going to call people. Who's brave enough to raise a hand? And don't go turn your cameras off.
I will share.
Thank you for volunteering as tribute, Cassandra.
Yeah. I will say the version of me I want to leave behind is doubtful. I think a lot of times I'm really doubtful of like, oh, can I really do this or can I really make it in this business? So I want to leave behind the doubts of myself and the procrastinator for sure.
Okay. So you want to leave behind the doubtful and the procrastinator. So what's a scary thing that you can commit to doing in the next, oh my goodness, we have 25 days ish. Math is not my skill first thing in the morning. Before the end of the year to set yourself up to leave the procrastinator behind.
Like Elias always says, the discipline. I think for sure I need to really embody discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to challenge you to like really be very clear on what that looks like. Thanks, Otis, for the math. What does that clarity and that discipline look like for you so that it becomes not just a wish, but you have a
Mm-hmm.
clear plan? So
Mm-hmm.
spend some time thinking about that. Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Aaron, Mr. Chris, you got a smile on your face. So I know you're thinking about a lot. You had a great year as well.
You know what? I am always trying to get a little bit better. I guess like you said, you got to sit down and sit with yourself. Elias was referencing it earlier with his friend. You got to do like the inner work with yourself. You got to change the dialogue in your own head. You talk to yourself more than anybody in this room or in this world talks to you. And so you got to give yourself grace, but at the same time there's those days. And so understanding that you're going to have a day where you slip back into old patterns is something that I'm shedding. And so I feel like every year it's not like I shed something totally from me. I'm aware of all the places I can get better, and the challenge is trying to shed a little here, a little there, and be a little bit better each year. And so I say that since I joined this team in 2023, I was kind of going through all kinds of things. My head was spinning, and I just wasn't really aware of what was happening. And I still feel like I'm trying to find what my clarity, if you will. But again, I stay in the activities, I stay on these calls, I stay engaging with the team, I stay active as I can in the way I can, and the way I feel comfortable, the things I like to do. And I consistently work on trying to shed just negativity, like negative thought patterns, doubt, anything that is contrary to building my reality to be what I want it to be, right? And so ultimately it's consistently sitting down and thinking, am I happy with where I'm at? Like, is this it? And if it is, cool. I can just kind of float here. If I want more, then what do I have to do to want more? And so I don't know that it's necessarily one thing. I guess mindset, just shedding any negative mindset, which again, seems crazy. Seems like, you got to get to some Dalai Lama stuff, but I've even been thinking about more things like that, just, going on retreats where I'm just in quiet for 2 days and things like that are things I haven't done before. So what would I do in 2026 to try to improve that? I'm thinking about things like that. So just improving your thought patterns, and I feel like each year I've been part of this team, it's gotten a little bit better, and my mental frame of mind has had clarity as far as knowing who I am and being um happy with who I am.
That's really all that we want to do, is be content with what we're doing and how we're showing up, regardless of how big or small our impact that we want to make is. We want to wake up and know that we're doing the right thing. And that's, Aaron, I really respect that coming from you. And how's this year been for you as far as production and also mindset?
I would say that this year has been good to me. I made a goal to just get one deal a month, was like quadrupling what I did last year. And I'm at 15 closed right now. We have two in escrow, so I should be at 17. I'm talking about writing one to go into the next year and be off to the same good start. And I think ultimately my mindset and maintaining a positive attitude, even when sometimes things get hard, because of those, I've had a lot of contracts, especially early in the year, that fell out, that fell apart, and then I haven't. Those people just kind of fell off the map after we had to cancel contracts. So there have been contracts canceled as well, and obstacles had to been overcome. But one, I just maintained a positive attitude, and then I've also worked with some really great agents this year. So again, leaning into the team, partnering with people that help to kind of balance that. When you're feeling a certain kind of way and you're doing it by yourself, it's almost like, again, an internal thing that you're dealing with alone. But when you have a partner with you, it's a yin and yang type of thing. It's a way of balancing yourself out. And so I would say overall, my that is what I'm most proud of, is the way I've kind of managed the year without allowing myself to fall into negativity, consistent with my meditations, consistent with affirmations, and understanding that that my thoughts and my mind create my overall reality.
It's the private work that leads to the public results. So thank you for sharing that, Aaron, and really looking forward to partnering with you as well in 2026 and getting some things on the board. Demian, Mr. Work Until It Works, what are you leaving behind in 2025?
Good morning, Blessing. I'm leaving a lot of unnecessary fucks behind. Excuse my language, but I'm finishing up a book that's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And one of the points in the book is that we care too much about things that really don't matter, instead of putting our efforts into the things that matter the most. So when we talk about being fearful of certain things, when you get to the bottom of it, you're really giving too much energy to the things that don't matter. Like when we talk about not wanting to get on camera or not wanting to do certain aspects of our business that we know will lead to success, we're caring way too much about the things that are stopping us from getting what we say that we care about and want. So just continuing to give a fuck less about the things that are stopping me from doing what I want to do. So yeah, just wanted to share that with y'all. Just care a little less about those things that matter less and more about what matters most.
Put you on the spot to share one of those things that you're going to care a little less about?
Something that I'll care a little less about is failure. I let that get in my way sometimes. And this year I did do a better job of it, but I'll continue to increase my efforts of just not letting the potential failing stop me from taking a step. And again, I've been consistent this year in a lot of ways that I wasn't prior, but I'll just continue to turn that up on myself with caring less about failing, because we can only succeed by our failures. So
Awesome. And when you said that you're going to care a little bit less about failure, there's a lot of people that lit up on the screen. So if that's something that you that resonates with you, or you are thinking about things that you want to care less about as well, definitely throw your hands up so we can continue the conversation. Thank you so much, Demian. I'm going to go over to Nicole, Miss Penland. What are you leaving behind?
I am also leaving behind those fucks. But before we conclude, I just wanted to drop something that I wanted to share earlier. That I'm doing this weekend. I'm hosting a food drive at one of my listings. It's a land lot, 4601 Foothill Boulevard in Oakland. It's across the street from Fremont High School. And it's going to be a drive-by food drive. So any of you that want to help us prepare the food bags and give them to those in need, invitations open. We'll be there starting at 11, but the actual event starts at 1 p.m. But we'll start at 11 and start preparing the bags and everything, and helping those that need some food for Christmas.
Wonderful. I see that you put that you were hosting it in there, but drop the link not only here in the chat, but obviously in the Slack channel for anyone to get in contact with you so we can support. Definitely want to make sure that that gets visibility and shared, even if we can't be there, but definitely moving forward with it. So thank you, Nicole. Miss Tanisha, tell me, what are you leaving behind? What are we caring less about? Where are we at? What are we thinking?
The mute button. I finally found it. Thank you. I'm loving these conversations, and it definitely, everybody that contributes really contributes to me. So thank you. And thank you for coordinating this blessing, especially since Elias has to go. We are so thankful you can keep it moving. Okay, girlfriend?
Appreciate you.
But I've had a huge shift in this real estate journey of mine. Last week, I got into contract with 3 deals, and I'm like, poof, something just went off on me. And definitely being on these thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for the love. I'm just like,
Let's
whoa, how did this
for a second?
happen?
It actually hit me. I'm sorry. So there was the first one that we were super excited about, and then a subsequent additional 2.
2 more.
Girl.
Yes, I haven't even.
Let's go.
Yes, I'm in escrow with 3 as of last week, and they all happened last week. I think one was on a Saturday, the second one was on Friday, and the last one was Saturday morning. So anyhow, there's so many things I am leaving behind. Just the transition of 2025 has done a number on me, my soul, and how I present myself to the world. There's so many things I'm leaving behind in 2025, but I had to write it down because I figured I might get nervous when I start talking. So number 1 is a lack of confidence. That shift of confidence that I presented with my clients shifted the way they did business with me. And they allowed me to guide them through the home buying process, and they trusted everything I said. So my lack of confidence, I am leaving in 2025. My lack of systems, I am leaving in 2025. That's definitely something I heard in coaching throughout the year that didn't resonate with me until I heard House of Mama-san present it and say, hey, work on your follow-up, boss. And I said, oh my God, I got to work on that. So I'm also leaving behind my lack of discipline. I had told myself, if I want to do real estate full-time, I have to do it full-time. And so I have to be disciplined. I have to have the systems. I have to tell people no that want to hang out and do happy hour at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I have to say no to, just hanging out because I'm building my business. And I have to say no to the ex-husband that wants to keep dragging me to court. So my lack of discipline, those 3 things hit home. And also I realized I have to work on one thing at a time before I transition and kind of take on too many things at a time. I have to work with what works for me. So That's it. I'm going to have a fabulous 2026. I'm speaking it into existence because I'm ending 2025 with a bang.
Yes, you are. And ma'am, you said that all of that happened last week. That is not the case. The contracts may have gotten ratified last week, but you have consistently been showing up and putting in the work. And that is why that happened when it did. It has been the months and the commitment to yourself. So yes, we always love a ratified contract, but you have been doing the work. So don't lose sight of the fact that you have been building that. The moment you decided to be confident is when everything clicked for you. So for anyone else that is trying to get to their first deal, or even in the beginning of this conversation when he said, who's going to be here next year? And Otis, I do see your hand. I'm going to get to you. When he said, who's going to be here next year? Some people didn't raise their hand or there was some hesitation. That is okay. If you have hesitation or if you are unclear as to whether you will be here, look around the room and see what it takes. It is the consistent putting in the work. Tanisha, you said it best, because sometimes we don't realize, or we want to, be that full-time realtor that is at the, working lunches or networking all the time, but we have to do the work. There comes a point where doing the work and the results collide and it becomes very clear. So if you want it, and Lisa also said in the very beginning of the call, there is no way to put in all of the effort, all of the work, all of the videos, all of the conversations and not get something. Even if it is a lesson of how to be better, you get something out of it all. And all of it does build up, and then boom, boom, you've got 3 contracts. So thank you so much for that. Otis, let's go over to you, and then we're going to go over to commitments because we need to get that and then wrap up in the last few minutes. So Otis.
I'm gonna let go of self-doubt. Um, I think we all are afraid to say it, but even when we set a goal, I know we all have this part of us that is like, is it realistic? Can I really do that? Is it possible? And then you hear the stories and then, the work that puts it in. But me, myself, letting go of the self-doubt of a lot of stuff. And the biggest thing is negativity. Like my life is filled with a bunch of it. So I'm about to be 40 years old this year, and I'm looking at it as a great reset, right? A new decade. My 20 decades was fucked up. I lost a lot. My brother, my 30s, even more so. A lot of my first cousins, my grandpa, my grandma, like a lot of stuff's been happening. So in a stretch now of some good years in the place that I'm in, mentally, physically, and everything. Like I think this is the best time for me to strive, for the greatness that I want and actually do everything for one whole year, 365 days of Otis going in on going in. Like not just, I just did a great year and I'm kind of coasting and none of that shit. I'm fully focused on going 365 days a year hard, because I feel like if I truly can stop half-assing life and be honest with myself, like I don't even tap into my full potential. And some reasons I question myself why, but this year I'm really looking into that because my son's getting up the age where he can understand stuff. And my biggest thing, if you guys see me, my biggest prize jewel is my son. So I don't want my son to ever look back and be like, I don't know, question. I question my dad on a lot of shit. Not so much negative, just on, why he wasn't here to do this, to do that. Like, I don't ever want my son to not look at me as his superhero, as the guy that did everything and had everything. And, you know, that's what I want to do. And I know that if I can do one whole year of really working hard, I know that's going to set up me, his life, and the rest of my family's life, for a long time. Because if I'm doing it half-ass and semi-half-ass here and there, I can only imagine what I could do if I'm really focused and I really take all the self-doubt out of myself and be like, you know what? You've proved to yourself and others for the last half of the decade that you can do shit that you couldn't even possibly imagine. So I want to not only prove it to myself, but I also want to prove it to him. So that's what I want to do. Negativity out the window and really just work hard all year long and really give myself, the grace to do that and not, be in an emotional state during the holidays or when a great deal or string of great deals go on, kind of puff back. Like I really just want to go full throttle for a full year.
Here for it. Otis going in on going in. That is a sentence in a movie, a book. There is a series in that. So we're all here for you. And when you were speaking, you said something that made me think of the fact that a lot of us, especially if we've had to struggle through or have been in survival mode for any amount of time, that if we're stuck in that hustle, like trying to just come up and survive, that when good things start to happen, we almost just wait for the negative. Let's sit in the present. Otis, you're having a phenomenal year. Have you given yourself the flowers for it? Have you said it out loud? Because you're having a
Uh,
phenomenal year.
I tried to, and you know what? It actually took me to go into enterprise and look at my numbers because, like, y'all thought I was playing. I really felt like I had a shitty year, and it's like I did better in 6 months out of the full 12 months last year, this year, and obviously not getting the full credit for one, would have put me into top 10, number wise, and I think that physically, fucked me up, but I won't dwell on it. But just knowing that. I know I can do the impossible. So, to do that 4 or 5 times next year, plus seeing all the people that's going to be working with me and underneath me. I mean, not underneath me with, but, the newer people coming in and seeing, build up like the pyramid of, the downline and the, the client list. Like when you first get into this business, it's not all told to you. And I don't know if it's gatekeeping. I don't know if it's just whatever, but once you figure out, like I was having this conversation with Gary yesterday, bro, I told him, bro, we're only on the like smallest level in this whole entire spectrum of this business, like commercial, all the other shit that we got going on that's just going to be tipping off and tipping off. Like, they tell you, even there's an ad, an EXP, like you can make thousands of dollars, millions of dollars without even selling real estate. All that shit is true, but you just don't know about it. And we don't spend time doing this and that. So when they say the branding, they say the marketing, they're saying these things for a reason. So when you fully start getting into it, I don't know if it's just the experience going into year 5 now and just like they call it being woke in our culture now, but being woke in real estate, like, whew. So I do need to do that. And I'm grateful you said that because a great colleague of mine that got me into the radio business told me that. And that's one of the biggest things. And you said it right, and I didn't word it right, is I need to stop living, for that negativity moment. And I do need to start living in the present to enjoy these things. Because when you look back on it, I'm gonna be like, wow, I was happiest then and I didn't even know it. So thank you, Brett Blessing, for saying it in that word sentence, because I really needed to hear that part.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Ladies and gentlemen, always check your numbers. Most of the time, we feel like we are not performing. Go back and look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you, and we'll wrap up the call as we normally do. Um, Looking at the numbers. What did you do last week? What do you need to do this week? Not the theories, not the behaviors, not the consistencies. How many conversations do you need to have? How many appointments do you need to go on? How many open houses? Like, really get very, very clear on that so that you can have something to look back on, because it is really, really, really easy to think that you're not doing something and then realize, oh, I did make 6 figures in GCI. This is possible. And all this time you were defeating yourself. So is there anyone in this last 2 minutes that we have to wrap up the call that wants to raise their hand and say, here are my numbers for this week so that we can support you and rally around? Or any takeaways that you want to share with the group to send us on our way this Monday? Any brave souls, especially someone who hasn't contributed? Go ahead, Stephanie. Thank you.
So I'll do my biggest takeaway for today is not to sit back and take it easy. I know it's the holiday season, but this is your time to connect with everyone out there. There's a lot of people that really struggle during the holiday season. And so you can be that light to those people. I have a transaction where the sellers are going through a nasty divorce. The seller, somebody I have nothing to do with, right? I called the wife trying to convince her to sign because she's refusing to sign. And it turned into a 45-minute conversation. And it turns out this girl's going through hell. She lost her friend, her husband, he took her car, they're losing their house, et cetera, et cetera. But I could just tell nobody has sat there to listen to her. So reach out to your contacts. You never know what's going on in somebody's life, but they're going to remember that you helped them, right? That you listened to them, that you were there for them to lean on. So do your follow-ups, because all the follow-ups you're doing now are going to be closings in next month, 60 days, 90 days. So this is the perfect time to get out there. So don't take the your foot off the gas. You know, I know it's the holiday seasons, enjoy your family, but don't forget to do your follow-ups, because people are going to remember this. Everybody, not everybody, some people are in a better mood, some people are really going through it, you know, so make those calls, because you never know what connection you're going to make.
Shoot your shot, plant the seed. You never know where it's going to go. You never know. One week, next week, you might be saying, I've got 3 in escrow, like Miss Tanisha as well. But just keep showing up, keep moving. And as the group says, keep moving towards your dreams, vision, and future. I think that's what it is. Goals. You guys know what it is, but just keep going. Don't give up. Have the high energy. And if you need any support, book time on Elias's calendar. Feel free to reach out to me. But go have an amazing day and to make this a great week. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.